Hello and welcome to the third season of Sunday Sweet Chats. My name is Charles K. Carter, and I'm a queer poet from Iowa who currently lives in Oregon. I'm the author of several poetry collections, including The God of Loneliness from Rebel Satori Press. But that's enough about me. Let's talk with our sweet guest today and discuss some sweet, sweet poetry. Hello, Megan. I'm very excited to have you here today. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. Hi, thanks for having me. This is a fantastic opportunity to just hang out and chat, so I'm really excited. I am a poet and visual artist. I live in Prescott, Arizona with my two kiddos, who are teenagers now. I own shiversong.com and I edit and mentor poets kind of all around the world now, actually, and having a really good time doing that. I'm a busy, busy human, I think. Never really know what to say. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, that can always be awkward to talk about ourselves, or yeah.
It
Um,
is.
Speaking of Shiver Song, I guess, I don't want to pull this into me, but my forthcoming election coming out this fall, Follow This Blood to Find a Dead Thing from Fernwood Press, actually was edited with Shiver Song. So
With Tommy. He's
look, yep, with Tommy. So
phenomenal. Oh
yeah,
my gosh. Yes. He's so good.
so good, great experience. So Shiver Song is wonderful. So
Thank you.
highly recommend looking into their services. Yes, and I really love your art too. And I
Thank you.
might talk to you and reach out to you soon because I got a forthcoming collection. I really love a piece of art you have, but have to wait and you know get it picked up and all of that fun stuff. But I have a
I'm
piece of your art in
intrigued.
mind.
I'm intrigued. Let's talk. For sure.
All right. So we always ask this at Sunday Sweet Chats. What is a favorite sweet treat of yours when you have them sugary urges?
So I am vegan and gluten free. Sweet treats are really, really, really challenging to come by, but I am obsessed with this vegan gluten-free cheesecake that I am able to find at the grocery store. And when I am dying, that is where I head immediately and grab that. And sometimes we'll crush weird things on top of it.
I am curious to know more and if this is a wider brand because I'm also vegan, not gluten-free, but vegan. So
I think it's
sometimes finding,
Daiya, I think is how
oh,
it's pronounced.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
all right,
It,
yep, I definitely had their products. Yeah,
yes, it is pretty darn good. So
pretty
yeah,
good. Yeah,
it'll hit the spot.
It is good stuff.
Mhm.
All right, that's enough about sweet food. You got a poem to share with us today. Go for it.
I do. So this was recently published in Bird Coat Quarterly. I have to say that slowly because every time I do it just like spills into weirdness. But it's a mirror poem and it's in fragments. It's a little more experimental than what I have been doing in the past with Before the Fevered Snow or Hortensia in Winter. And it starts with this beautiful quote by Emily Skaya, and it's understand I need these fragments to tell it once is not enough. So I knew it'd be a mirror poem when I started it. It's called Day Night. Where did you sleep? In what temperature of light? What words erased when you woke? I can't stop thinking about the way your sigh pin tucks tined edges of dark. I read poems that are like ivory busts of women. Not everything can be thought through. A declaration of non-existence. I'm here. Outside, cloud tangle. Just enough winter rain to lose traction. Unsettle. A fragment is not the same as an erasure. What isn't said isn't yet. Give me time. A poem wrecks with tender mirrors. I've seen the way that fields can mimic the gesture of water in a dry season, a hidden depth, acres of want. I frame you in tin, tarnished green, how the dead bloom. What if all that lingers between us are words, a crate of plastic flowers in sun? The stained glass windows here are faded, let in a solace of light. I whisper, enough, enough, an argument with longing. I am making a map. I hang mirrors on the trees to catch a bent elbow here, the curve of my neck there, each time pretending. You. What beginning isn't wild with possibility? already fraught with its own unbecoming. Already fraught with its own unbecoming, what beginning isn't wild with possibility? Each time, pretending, you. I hang mirrors in the trees to catch a bent elbow here, the curve of my neck there. I am making a map. I whisper, enough, enough, an argument with longing. The stained glass windows here are faded, let in a solace of light. A crate of plastic flowers in sun. What if all that lingers between us are words? How the dead bloom. Tarnished green, I frame you in tin. Acres of want, a hidden depth. I've seen the way that fields can mimic the gesture of water in a dry season. A poem wrecks with tender mirrors. Give me time. What isn't said isn't yet. A fragment is not the same as an erasure. Unsettle. Just enough winter rain to lose traction. Outside, cloud tangle. I'm here. A declaration of non-existence. Not everything can be thought through. I read poems that are like ivory busts of women. I can't stop thinking about the way your sigh pin tucks tined edges of dark. What words erased when you woke? Where did you sleep? In what temperature of light?
Wow, that's so great. I love that.
Thank
Um, the acres of want. I really love that phrase. The image of the mirrors in the tree. Um, and that the juxtaposition of the possibilities or the undoing at the beginning of something. I love that as well.
Mhm.
I'm really curious. You said this was kind of a break from traditional form for you. I know as a poet, I have my traditional form, or I tend to do free verse, kind of have my regular, thing I do. Um, but I like to experiment and play around as well. Um, when you do that, what's that like for you? Do you find you learn something about yourself, or I don't know, what's that like for you?
So I recently just finished putting together a manuscript and they're almost all mirror poems, which I tried and I started and I was like, oh, this is really fun. I think it works. And it works well with lyricism. It works well with the kind of rhythm and cadence that I normally hold. And I did it without the intention of the whole manuscript being mirror poems. But once I started to flip a few of them, I was like, this kind of works. I'm here for it. And then I allowed myself to venture into more fragments to see if I could break it up even more and what new shape and new meaning the poems would take as I flipped them further on down the page. And that sense of fragmentation, that embracing fragmentation for me is super experimental. I'm normally do not do that. And the way that my life is structured right now, the time that I have to write, the way that my attention span is focused and funneled, fragmentation felt like the most comfortable form. It was low pressure, low shame. I could just write a line down here, come back to it, 2 weeks later when I was able to, or whatnot. Or when I was teaching or mentoring with other poets, I'd end up like writing a line down that came to me. I woke up the other night and this hardly ever happens, but I was dreaming and this line came into my awareness. And in my dream, I was like, okay, I'm gonna wake up and write this down. And then I was still dreaming, and so there was this other portion of my brain that was like, you're still asleep? Like, actually, really wake up and write this line down. And so that line is going to find its way in. Thankfully, it wasn't ridiculous. Like, I was scared when I woke back up, it would be like, give the elephants the bananas or something. It'd be like so profound, right? It was a decent line, so I'll take it. But um, I'm learning to kind of step outside of what I'm teaching at the moment and allow myself a little bit more freedom and to be a little messy and to make more mistakes and to open up that space for that joy again in the writing process and not just the knowledge that I have coming in with revision or with what I want the poem to be. So yeah, it's teaching it's I'm the po the poems are always teaching me about myself. Every time that I write, I look at them and I'm like, oh, cool. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I definitely see that in my own work as well. Yeah, and I really like to experiment every now and then and try something different or a new form or persona poem or whatever to kind of get out of my head or try something different or to think differently. And I think those are valuable learning experiences. And yeah, I think oftentimes they're very revealing about myself. Because I oftentimes am very much like all of my writing is not about me. Um, it's not about me. That's nothing about me. And then 6 months later, I'll look at it and I'll be like, yeah, that was about me.
One of the main things that I end up teaching, and it's really interesting, is how to show up in our own work. Like how do we do that? How do we have risk? How do we have something at stake or some element of vulnerability coming into that space? And so if you're able to find that, you're doing an amazing job. Like so just saying.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Vulnerability is really hard. And I think my last full length that came out, The God of Loneliness, which I actually completed after Follow This Blood to Find a Dead Thing. Publishing sometimes when something gets picked up and when it gets published, sometimes that happens. Um, that really was kind of a breakthrough manuscript for me because I just kind of let go of thinking about who was going to read this, what they were going to think, and was very vulnerable and really opened up and wrote in a way where I just let it all hang out as far as sexuality, mental health, suicidality, like it's all
Beautiful.
out there.
Good.
Um,
No.
mhm.
Yeah, I ask two questions of myself when I sit down to write every time, and it's number one, what do I owe myself? And then number two, what do I owe the reader? And they're not always the same thing. And every poem has a different response. But I always start the process by asking those two questions of myself. So
I love that. I think that's wonderful.
thank
I think
you.
that leads really well into our last question. Um, so we live in a very chaotic world. A lot of stuff's going on, a lot of salty stuff. So what keeps you sweet? Considering everything that's going on, how do you stay sweet?
I, uh, I don't know, probably about 6 or 8 months ago, I decided to dedicate effort and time to joy. And it's an intention. It does take a lot of effort. It takes, especially in this the onslaught of headlines that we have coming at us with the busyness and the chaos of life, of mothering, of writing, of working, of doing all these things. And so I have been trying to figure out where joy lives so that I stay sweet. And I have found it in the weirdest places. So I found it in pickleball, which is hilarious, and the most ridiculous sport you could probably undertake. And I'm laughing, 3/4 of the time while playing. I found it in nature, in hiking, and exploring, and kayaking. I found it in art quite a bit. I now have a studio space that is, I share it with another artist, but it's my own, personal private space. And every single time that I walk into that building, I feel very alive and very grateful, and so much joy. I've also recently did a silent disco, which was on my bucket list. Yep, I stumbled upon it. I have been seeking one out, and I actually had tickets to one that got canceled, and it broke my heart. And then I was out dancing with friends, and we took a shortcut through back alley and literally stumbled upon a silent disco. So,
So cool.
yes, I think finding that intention within yourself, that energy and the effort within yourself to make a commitment to just be like, I'm gonna find joy. I know this is all really stressful and life is hard and ugly and mean sometimes and really sad. But being able to take a step back and go, no, I'm gonna put as much effort into this practice as I am every other thing in my life, as in work, as in writing, as in relationships and connection. And it's incredible what happens when you open that doorway.
You so much for sharing that. Yeah, I think that's super important. Um, yeah, I can relate to that. I'm trying to do that in my own life and trying not to be a pretentious boob about that with myself. Letting myself enjoy things that um, might not be so, artistic or poetic or whatever. Like, you know, I can enjoy the crappy Jennifer Lopez songs. Like, whatever. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, she is not great, whatever music, but it's fun. I can enjoy that.
good.
And
Every
I'm,
moment.
yeah,
Yep.
and trying to, I, this saying is becoming very popular, but really trying to embrace it, not to yuck someone else's yum. Like, let people enjoy what they like. I don't have to like
Exactly.
it. It's not hurting anyone. Let
Exactly.
people don't take someone else's joy. It's
Yeah. And it's so super cliche, but I mean, this is it. This is what we get. This is your one life, 24 hours at a time. You make the most of it every single day. And it can be like picking up a stick and, tossing it across your driveway and watching it fling and be like, there's joy. Like,
Mhm.
some small amount of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that childlike joy and wonder even.
Mhm.
I
Embrace
love.
it. Love it.
Mhm.
It's available. Even in the current political, social buffoonery, there's a word that we are facing. It's still
100%.
available. Hmm.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Embrace the joy. Carve that out. Enjoy it when you can.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you so much for being here today, Megan. It's been such a joy to talk with you.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you. It's been such a sweet treat to have you. Thanks for tuning in to Sunday Sweet Chats. Catch another episode next Sunday. See you later.